Now the YouTubes. Hi, welcome to Take This Rose. I'm Tommy.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are here to discuss Fantasy Suites. He has jumped the fucking fence.
Guys,
this is a really big deal.
Good. I'm sorry we're starting late. Lucy was being a little bit of a gremlin. It took me forever to get her to go to bed.
So Jenny
I had to watch it.
Catch up on it. And
it was really good.
It was really good. It's all paid off. Every time I'm like,
spades.
Week, 5, 6, we're just like, oh, this show's terrible. Really weeks like 3 and 4, and then something like this happens and it totally redeems itself. Why did we ever?
That's the real problem with this show is it's too many weeks.
Yeah.
We need to start with fewer women.
Yeah.
And have fewer weeks.
I think if they started off with like 15 women. And not necessarily an elimination every week, that'd probably be a little bit better. Just a thought. Just throwing it out there. All right, we've got some stuff to cover. Let's get our plugs out of the way.
Yes.
All right, we've got 2 sponsors at Jenny Cakes Chai. If you're looking for cakes in the Chicagoland area.
Yes. And that trainer Tommy.
Yep. If you've got any questions on training, we have an email. It's takethisrosepodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram @takethisrosepodcast. But really, a lot of big news today. First of all,
I got a haircut.
Jenny got a haircut. This is all we really wanted to talk about.
I know you all noticed, and I appreciate that. And if you followed my hair saga, where I lost 3 stylists in a year and a half.
I remember that.
One of them came back.
Okay.
And I was really excited because I was going to have to go into the city to get my hair done.
No, you're not a city girl anymore.
No, it's so far.
Yeah.
But she gave me a cut and a tone and a soften because I ended up with highlights again last time, even though I didn't want highlights. So she softened them up, and they're better now.
Okay. Another thing.
I'm just kidding, guys. The real thing is the fence jumping.
Well, it's that, but also a little news from our friend Reality Steve.
Are we going to spoil it?
Yeah, why not? It's not that big of a deal. The Bachelorette
Spoiler.
has been spoiled.
Earmuffs.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Put them on.
We would write spoiler.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to do that.
No, I'm not going to
Nor do
invest
we
the
care.
time. Yeah. So the Bachelorette is going to be Hannah B. Doing her crazy eyes. Yeah, Hannah B is going to be our Bachelorette.
What the hell, you guys?
Wow. This is phenomenal to me.
Surprising.
Because really, I've never seen somebody who, like, after 1 week of a show is like, that's the Bachelorette. More
Than Caitlyn.
Yeah. I've never seen somebody lose it in as extreme a fashion. And Caitlyn really came across quite poorly as the season went on. Boy, did she fudge up.
Yes, this is real news.
She fudged up real bad.
She done fudged up.
Yeah. And so she'll have a great time on Paradise, vying for the rejects of Hannah B. Remember the girl that she hates from the pageant world. So that's really fun that she's going to be getting Hannah B.
That'll be
seconds.
hilarious.
Yeah, so really good. She has to go on Paradise. Yeah, because she's got to influence. She doesn't want a real job. And she's got to slide in DMs. Yeah.
Who does?
So yeah.
I certainly don't.
Pretty big news there. And kind of tied in with this week because, I don't want to spend too much time on Tayshia's date. It's not worth it.
No, also I missed it because
yeah.
it was one of the times I was trying to get my daughter to
they're
sleep.
in Algarve, Portugal, so that's all that matters.
It was very pretty.
But it ties in nicely because Cassie just had to me, was a very clear attempt to become the Bachelorette.
Oh, yes. The way she was trying to leave was a very clear pitch.
So let's just quickly get through this. We start off the episode, Papa Bear and Colton were talking, pretty much talking about fucking.
Bonin.
Yeah.
The beast with 2 backs.
Do you think Papa Bear had any tips? Do you think? Yeah. So they had that, and then they announced they're going to Algarve, Portugal. Then we had a brief summary of each of the 3 girls' remaining relationships. Hannah G, sorry to be you.
Oh my God, it sucks so bad for you.
Yeah, it really does.
I don't know if you, if she actually got a fantasy suite and they just aired it out of order, but I don't think she did.
Yeah, she did not get that 15 seconds of pleasure that Colton was going to give her.
That free pump and dump.
Yeah.
That's what it would have been.
So they were in Algarve, Portugal. Tasha had a date. They went on a helicopter, then to like some lighthouse on a cliff. Looks romantic. There were a lot of jokes about Colton being a virgin. He's really looking to intimate conversations. And the night portion, Tasha's boobs kept popping out. She's got some titties. Let's be perfectly honest.
They made an appearance last week, too.
Yeah, and then she's got a nice butt, too.
She's hot.
It turns out she got cheated on in her marriage.
Ooh, bummer.
Yeah, and then remember how she was dating some guy a week before she went on this show. And then she went on a show where one guy is dating 30 women. Uh-huh. So that doesn't matter.
We don't have time to unpack all of that psychological nonsense.
That processing. You can't microwave a relationship, as her father would say.
He handed Colton a copy of The Perfect Letter and said, this is all you need for fantasy suites. This is a good burn.
That's a good one, yeah. So Colton, at this point, after reading the note, he says, I've thought about my first time several times. Just several?
Just a couple.
Not thousands?
Just a few.
Not thousands and thousands
Over the course
times.
of my... How old is he? 29?
26.
26 years of life?
Yeah.
That's a little better.
But he said he's experienced in other ways. So he's gotten a blowjob before.
Any 16-year-old on the football team has gotten a blowjob.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're getting a blowjob... First of all, how far do we think he's gone? Is Beej... Has he gone on her? Has he gone down on her?
I don't know. I think he might be a little afraid.
Yeah. I think if her underwear is coming off, there's no way that you're not having sex at that point.
Yeah.
Right? And then even if you're getting a blowjob...
He definitely doesn't know where the clitoris is.
Do you know what... Oh, he thinks it's mythological.
He doesn't know
He doesn't
where
think it's
it
a real
is.
thing. He doesn't think it's a real thing.
Guys, it's not that hard to find.
No.
Look at a chart.
Yep. It's right underneath up.
Not that hard.
It's just right underneath there, yeah. And then... But even if you got a blowjob, you know what you think during a blowjob as a male? You know what would be better than
Anything
this?
but
Sex.
the fact.
Sex feels better. Undeniably.
Not if you've never had sex.
Well, yeah.
Then that's not what you're thinking.
I guess he doesn't have a reference point. Yeah.
You don't know.
But wouldn't he just be curious?
He's thinking maybe sex is better.
Yeah. I don't think he's gotten a blowjob. He probably went down on her because he'd be too scared to demand anything. There's no way he's gone down
here's
on
the
her.
problem with that. Yeah. Societally, blowjobs are expected much earlier in the relationship than the reciprocal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not how... you know what? I'm going to leave some stuff to the imagination here. Yeah, okay. But yeah,
hi, Tommy's
I
mom.
agree. What's up? They're not watching. My dad had surgery.
He's fine, guys.
Also, people were asking about my apps last week. Glad to say,
he's back on the
apps. It's perfect timing. Day after some situations developed,
it was
where I'm back on the apps.
You guys.
I'm fine.
I felt bad about it.
Yeah, I felt
because
really...
I haven't dated since 2005.
Yeah.
So
I
feel like how it works today is really brutal.
I had some Colton shakes at one point last week, but other than that, I'm doing great.
He's back on the horse.
So Colton's been getting some blowjobs. Morning after, like, you look at her, they show the footage, and I'm like, oh, her hair is too good. They didn't have sex. Sure enough, they did not have the physical intimacy they're looking for. So then we got to Cassie's date, and the whole time during the date portion, they're all over each other. They're clearly quite lustful for each other. A
lot of grabbing of her ass, which again, as we went over last week, we understand.
Yeah,
like that's legit.
Yeah, right, for sure.
That ass don't quit.
Is her dad a meat burglar? Because it looks like someone slid 2 Christmas hams down the back of her dress.
Nope.
The ladies' man?
Nope.
Tim Meadows?
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's really dumb.
Yes.
But very funny. Will Ferrell's in it. It's great.
Well, it was an SNL character movie.
Yes, it was. Yeah, those are typically never good for the most part, except for like Wayne's World. So they're clearly about to bone. And then at one point though, like they start having a talk and they talk about hometowns, and Colton drops actually that he did not in fact get approval from Cassie's father. Mm-hmm. And this is very surprising to Cassie.
Oops.
Yeah, she starts to have second thoughts. Cassie's ass is mediocre, but Colton was about it.
I disagree.
Yeah. Disagree. I mean, it's not like a Kim Kardashian ass, but like...
It doesn't need to be awesome.
It's a phenomenal.
It doesn't need to be disproportionate to
great.
your body to be awesome.
Yeah. So, so she finds...
I look tired.
So we all do. Act accordingly. So, she finds that out. She's a little nervous. And then in between the day portion and the night portion, guess who shows up? Her dad.
What?
So the producers of The Bachelor...
It's not flat. Look at her butt in that silver dress.
Okay. It's not flat.
Cassandra, we're not going to continue to have this argument with you.
Yeah. The producers of The Bachelor, who I'm sure have just been buttering up Colton this whole time.
Yes.
At some point have thought, you know, it would be a lot of fun.
If we fucked him over.
We ruined his life on national television by flying in her dad. Mm-hmm. So her dad shows up. First of all, I've seen this guy twice. Mm-hmm. He's worn a Henley both times. He's got to be late 40s.
Look.
No, put on a collared shirt.
He lives in California.
Yeah, but he's on TV. Put on a collared shirt. Is it too much to ask for?
That is fancy for California.
They think that's a collar if it goes down, yeah.
He would wear that to a black tie wedding.
Fair enough. So, he says...
Sorry, if you live in California, I actually have no idea what people are in California.
I don't think that's our demographic. Beautiful people? No.
No.
So...
We're 7s to 8s.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, Cassie's dad says, are you in love with this guy? And she says, I think I am. That's not what you told Colton.
Very convincing.
Yeah.
She told Colton a couple of things.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. So then she says, I really just wish that I had more time. I'm not ready for it to be over, but I'm not ready for an engagement. All reasonable things. Mm-hmm. I thought like her dad was fairly reasonable. And by fairly, I mean extremely.
He's the most reasonable person that has ever appeared on this program.
Right. So this is where we got kind of to the night portion of the date. And I've just got a lot to say here. So Cassie decides that she has to send herself home. Remember when Kirpa and Tasha told Colton that they didn't think Cassie was ready for an engagement, and Cassie got very upset?
She freaked the fuck out. Guess what, guys?
I think verbatim she said, I'm not ready for an engagement. Huh. Shocker. So this is all the stuff about Cassie and Kaylin canoodling together in
in cahoots.
In cahoots. I'm sorry, not canoodling together.
No, different word.
I watched that show though. So in cahoots together about trying to become the Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. It's pretty apparent that's what's going on here.
Because everything she said was, I don't know if I can get there. I'm not ready. I care about you so much, but I'm not there yet. And like, we're jumping, right? So he was giving her every out possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to put any pressure on you. We don't have to get engaged. I want to give you all the time you need. I love you. You're it. It's you.
Yes. So this is my thing is, Kaylin, and I think Cassie also had the plan of being the Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. Kaylin is...
Don't add us.
I don't want to sound harsh, but she's significantly smarter than Cassie, and Cassie might be very, very stupid.
Cassie underestimates how attractive she is.
Yes. Cassie didn't realize just how much he was lusting for her.
Yes.
And
she is too hot and was the only person playing hard to get.
Yeah. And then, so we get to this point, and first off, due to past experiences, I had a lot of trouble watching some of this part. Like, the part where they start the overnight date and she's acting like things are normal. Mm-hmm. And, like, they're joking about her dancing and stuff. Mm-hmm. I almost got sick to my stomach watching that. And I was saying, I just cannot believe that people are like that.
Yeah, women have to be like that.
Yeah.
We're trained.
Yeah, it just...
Again, society sucks.
Yeah, it was...
But I do still think it was shitty of her.
Well, yeah, I thought it was pretty shitty. And also,
I think she should have done it off camera.
Right.
If she actually cared about him.
So she says that she loves him.
But she's not in love with him.
Yeah, and she's... Well, and that she's not...
No, she said that.
But she said
at one point.
At first. So this is escalating degrees. This was the problem.
Yeah, she kept, like, changing it. Because, again, he was giving her every, like, possible way to fix it.
Yeah, right. So she thinks... She goes in and she says, look, Colton is a Christian. He said that he wants to be engaged at the end of this. If he's going to be, like, no, ring or bust. So if I say I'm not ready to be engaged, he's going to choose another girl. So she says, I love you. I'm not ready to be engaged. And he's like, okay. That's fine.
Yep.
We can take our time.
Yep, that's fine. I don't want to pressure you.
Yeah.
It's like,
And if that was the only way you felt like I'm not ready to be engaged, it hasn't happened since Juan Pablo season with Nikki Farrell. Nikki, I need to talk to your dad. As they said. But where there hasn't been an engagement. But it's happened before. And that's something you can talk about in the fantasy suite off camera. Where like, if you're like, I'm in love with you, but like, just, you know, like, I think this is a big step. And like, I think even if you actually were in love, you would get engaged. Because you'd be like, look.
And look at the history of this show. Like, you don't get married right away.
Right. Well, none of them get married.
Or you don't get married at all.
Yeah.
Or you get married in 8 months on TV.
Yeah. Cassandra says, did this remind you of Rachel/Peter?
No. Because that was, like, so raw and emotional. And they were both bawling. And her eyelashes came off.
Yeah.
And that is forever burned.
Yeah, that was
in my brain.
That was a good one.
So, like, emotion-wise, Rachel and Peter was, like, a more intense breakup. Because you could tell they were, like, in love with each other.
It was a more mature breakup, too.
Yes. But this one was more fun. Yeah. Because of the fence jump.
So, Colton said he struggled going on dates with the other women because he couldn't stop thinking of her. That must be so hurtful to Tayshia and Hannah. Yes.
Well, yeah, but it's also how he felt.
I think that happens with every season. From what I've read up from Reality Steve is there's always a clear-cut favorite every season. Even on Rachel's season, Reality Steve was reporting that Brian was like the clear favorite.
He was. We talked about how much Brian was the clear favorite.
Yeah. So then it's like weird with the Peter breakup.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, so quick drive. Rachel said it was always Brian, and yet, it's like, I think she really did have feelings for Peter. Yeah. Like, and she said after the show, like, you know, people didn't, like, they showed all of that stuff with Peter, but they didn't show how excited I was to get engaged to Brian and all that stuff. And it's like, but you still demonstrated
quite a bit.
Quite a bit of emotion towards Peter. So, like...
Yeah, I think we're justified in our thinking there.
Yeah.
But so, you know, at first when she's trying to end this engagement, Colton is just... I felt so bad for the guy.
He's like, even though you're about to leave, I'm not going to stop fighting for you.
Yeah, I'm willing to be patient. And he said, you know, at first she just, like, gets up and walks away. She's like, oh, this is so much harder than I thought it would be. Because she thought she was just going to be...
Yes.
It's done. It's a 10-minute process. And then she realized, oh, man.
Yeah, she really underestimated. She thought she could take herself out of the equation. And because there were still 2 women there... that he would just, like, take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just... Once again, the person that really got fucked here was Hannah G. Yes. She didn't get an overnight date.
Poor Hannah
and
G.
that was probably very important to her odds as being the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Because she also doesn't get a women tell all moment. So she's really screwed there. But yeah. And then Cassie... you could just see the wheels turning where she's like, oh, this isn't working. So now I'm going to go to this strategy.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. And at one point, Colton was pretty much like, you can't dump me. Yeah. Which is a bold strategy. I've tried it before. It doesn't work.
Yes, dumping is a one-sided process.
Yeah, right.
You're either dumped or you're not.
Just saying, no, you can't do that.
It doesn't work.
I've never had success with that. I'm going to keep trying it. At some point, somebody might be dumb enough to fall for it. But so, at the end, poor Colton, I guess it's just his heart ripped out.
He's like physically shaking.
Yeah.
I felt really bad.
I mean, if you've had like a really bad breakup, not one that I've had recently, but there's one a couple of years ago that you know of, that there was like some really bad shakes.
Oh, yeah.
And like weeks of not sleeping. Nauseous. I got really lean during this time. I want it on the record. I lost a lot of weight. I looked really great.
I looked great.
By the end of it, I looked phenomenal.
Jeff and I were dating in high school, and we broke up when we left for college. So, like, we went out on our, like, last date the night before he left for school. And we just spent, like, an hour crying on the porch, and then he drove away, and I ran out into the street and, like, collapsed. And started crying.
It's not funny, but it is pretty funny.
It's funny because we're married now.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
And then I, like, ran into the house and into my mommy's arms. You think maybe that was the sign we weren't supposed to break up?
What do you think? Tell me there's a neighbor just, like, cutting grass. I was like, Jesus.
No, it was, like, 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. Somebody walking their dog then. What's going on there?
I did. I, like, ran into the street and collapsed on the ground. I wasn't screaming, but I was crying really hard.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. And who would have thunk it? So,
guys, I don't think we should have broken up.
Yeah. So Colt was shaking. It's just like a human vibrator, but there was no pleasure.
Only pain.
Yeah. This rabbit wasn't doing any satisfying. So, yeah, she then left. And Colton first seemed a little calm, right? But she was like, "Are you mad?" He said, "Oh, I'm not mad.
I'm not mad."
Yeah.
And she kept framing, her new frame that she left with was, "I can't do this to you. You deserve someone who loves you completely." She was like, I gotta come out looking good.
Which is so different than, "I'm in love with you. I'm just not ready for an engagement."
Yes.
This is why
she's
a snake in the grass. She's shady. That being said, still very sexy. So hot. But she's shady.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't trust her at all. No. Would not give her my social security number.
No.
Not unless it was the right circumstances.
Unless she really needed it.
Yeah. It's like, hey.
For something.
After we have sex, I'm going to need that social security.
Need your social security number.
I guess you make a good point.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Do you need any routing numbers or credit card information?
Yeah, my bank account. I mean,
I got a passport. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear her frame it. She goes in the car. She says, "Oh, I thought that was way harder than I thought it would be." I wonder if even at that point she knows. Probably she doesn't, because she seems rather dumb. If she's screwed up.
Well, she's hoping that her producer is still in her corner so much that she'll get a good edit.
Yeah, which is interesting, because Kaylin for sure did not get a good edit.
Nope.
Yeah.
I put a lot of faith in these people.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, and then, but Hannah B apparently got a good edit. Remember the thing about her visiting Colton during hometowns last week, and they edited that out. That was so that she could be the Bachelorette.
Apparently.
Yeah. Gosh, she's got such crazy eyes.
Guys.
Yeah. Let's see. I thought the shaking was kind of funny. It's been like a month, Colton. Come on. All right. Unless you've been there. Right. That's the worst thing to say to someone. Yeah. I used to be enamored with Cassie's beauty, but she's gotten more basic to me as the time's gone by. Complete opposite.
No.
I just love the turtlenecks, too.
They work.
The turtlenecks are great. Wish I could pull off a turtleneck. I've got a, what do they call this thing? The baklava?
Oh, baklava?
Baklava, yeah. I've got the hat. I can just talk like...
Balaclava?
Yeah, I can just talk like this for the rest of the episode. It gets a little warm. It's a pastry.
Pastry.
I wish I had one of those, too. So then Colton, he needs some time to himself. So he goes upstairs.
Into the room.
Takes off his mic.
No, not yet.
Okay.
First he says, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
And then he walks out with a phone.
Yeah, so what was the phone like?
He's holding a phone.
Yeah.
I don't know whose phone it was. And he walks down the stairs angrily, walks across some grass, and then rips off his mic pack.
Then we
throws it on the ground.
Then we hear...
Somebody page Chris. Who can fix this but Harrison?
Papa Bear,
No
we
one.
need you.
Only him.
Oh,
he was
man.
in his relaxing jeans. He was not ready to make an appearance.
So he comes out. And it's Colton never runs after him. Just keeps walking. There's this fence.
Like, all right, we're going to have a calm conversation, buddy.
There's this fence, and it's clearly like a locked gate.
Yes, like for cars.
Yeah, and it took some athleticism.
It was impressive.
Yeah, he just went up and over.
Because, like, he just jumped the fucking fence.
So my favorite part...
We're going Blair Witch on the cameras. Like, no one was expecting this.
So when they step outside of the gate, they first of all can't figure out...
Can somebody open the gate? Somebody open the gate.
Because none of them can jump it. So they get open. And you can tell there's a fear in Harrison's eyes.
The search for Colton reminded me of the Truman Show when Truman runs away and they're searching for him. Yes, it was a lot like that.
Yeah. It was...
With the cameras and stuff.
It was... You could tell for a second, Harrison was like, what if he kills one of us? He's really upset.
When he gets outside of that fence, it's like he doesn't want to go out there.
Yeah.
There are dogs.
Yeah, there's wild dogs. What if
he was told they would not be leaving the resort?
Yeah, right. It's like, guys, my golf club is there in my hotel room. Are they gonna be okay?
I need to sleep with them.
Yeah. So then he hopped the fence, and so now we're left to wonder what's going to happen.
They were searching. He's nowhere.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Wow. So I mean, Colton is clearly.
Why isn't every episode like this?
I know.
I'd enjoy it a lot more.
I know. It's really good. So I think something is going to happen here. It's pretty obvious. He's going to shut down the production. Mm-hmm. He's going to live off the Portuguese countryside. And it's going to become an episode of Naked and Afraid.
We've morphed.
Yeah. His one survival tool is heartbreak.
And the cell phone.
And the cell phone, yeah. That's going to help too.
Do you think he called himself an Uber?
What if he got Postmates?
Can you just deliver it to this field?
You'll see me.
I'll drop a pin.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, he's so I think he's going to shut down production though and go after Cassie.
Yep.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
So that somehow is going to take 2 nights tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, because they can't air all that shit and then have him like fake through a date with Anna G.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's gonna be a Hannah G date.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think the first night I'm sure will be like him pursuing Cassie and some really heartfelt conversations. Mm-hmm. Second night will be a little bit of aired stuff, and then probably alive after the final rose. Mm-hmm. Which I wish I was going to that. So
one day.
Tomorrow. Does Hannah G get her date eventually after all the drama? No way. Yeah.
No way.
She's not having sex with Colton. I'm sorry. No one had sex with Colton this season.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Still a virgin.
So do we think Colton doesn't end up with anyone? Well, so now here's my thing: is Cassie has put herself in quite a little corner.
Yes.
Because she now realizes I'm really excited for this moment. Actually, is when Colton knocks on her door and she opens it up and sees it's him.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh shit."
Well, she'll know ahead of time.
Well, yeah, because they'll have cameras, yeah. But still, when she actually realizes, like, oh, I'm not going to be the
There's
Bachelorette.
no way out of this.
Yeah. It'd actually be
Can't even go on Paradise.
It would be great if they tricked her by saying they were going to film something for her Bachelorette intro package.
Ooh, that would be good.
And really, it was Colton showing up. That would be pretty phenomenal. But yeah,
I think that would be justice.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fun facial reaction, but I do think that they'll end up together. Not engaged, obviously, but they'll end up together. Tomorrow is the Women Tell All. Guess what, guys? We're not recapping
We're not.
No.
They don't care.
But I know what happens, for the most part.
What happens?
So, like, the...
Ear mess.
Yeah, spoilers. So, Demi and the girl, Courtney, maybe? They get into a big to-do, and I think everyone sides with Demi. Mm-hmm. Nicole and Onyeka get into a big to-do. I don't think it really matters because nobody cares about either of those two people. Mm-hmm.
Which is why we're not watching it.
The Kaylin stuff happens, and I guess Katie stays very composed, and Hannah B backs up Katie's version of events. There's a phone call between Katie and Kaylin. Katie says on that phone call, Kaylin admitted to everything that Katie accused her of.
Oops.
Kaylin says that in the phone call, the exact opposite happened. Well, guess who?
Did anybody record the phone call?
Guess who was with Katie when she made the phone call and heard everything? Hannah B. Hannah B was there.
Oops.
So Kaylin then.
She said.
Yes. She said.
She said.
So that happens, and then Kaylin once again curses a whole bunch. My hunch is that it didn't go well, or else she would have a much better chance at the Bachelorette as well. So yeah, that's pretty much
especially with like the image that she was trying to portray.
She was really dumb about that. Kind of ignorant.
Yeah.
Just thinking, she does have a very compelling story. You can't ignore that, and she's been through a lot.
Yeah, but you can't cahoot like that.
Yeah, and you can't call women bitches and all those words that you call them. Just can't do it. If you want to be Bachelorette, has to kind of stay out of the stinky stuff for the most part. In fact, I can't tell you a Bachelorette that was like ever involved in like a really name calling type situation.
Well, because how will you bring back old women from her season to give her advice?
Right.
If they don't like her.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you know who Hannah B is good friends with? It's Demi. So will Demi be on her season like 4 or 5 times?
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Very likely. But that's it for this week. So a little bit shorter, but a little bit more.
We only really talked about one thing.
Yeah, but it was fun. Yeah, it's a good episode. I have looked into Patreon, so that's something we could do if we want to do the Bachelorette for one final hurrah.
Okay.
I think that would be a nice way just to recoup our expenses for this like 5-year project.
It's been a long time, you guys.
But I've got an idea.
This is the second remodel that we've podcasted through. First was the kitchen, now it's the basement.
Got an idea for what we would do for people that actually give us money.
What?
I would write just like a little funny email type thing where we could trade off even if you wanted to write it or something. But like that's something you would get as a subscriber or as a supporter. Is added communication from us. More of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll DM you while we're watching the show.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, or that.
You can get our live thoughts.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's the point of our Twitter, but we never tweet.
Yeah, but we don't tweet.
Yeah.
So it'll be special.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because we still won't tweet.
Or we could set our Twitter to private and only accept follower requests of the people that we actually have to tweet.
These are all good ideas. Yeah. You guys can throw out some suggestions, too.
You can email us.
We reserve the right to reject them, but, you know.
Yeah. Email us, takethisrosepodcast@gmail.com. But I think that there is potential for life at the end of for the Bachelorette season, and then it's done.
Yep.
Only because, I'm going to be very honest here, I'm trying to organize a trip to the Men Tell All. I have a friend that might be able to get me tickets.
Okay.
I want to be doing the podcast.
That's awesome.
When it happens.
That's awesome.
Okay. I'm not sure if it will happen.
I cannot guarantee I won't give birth before this.
Well, we can delay that then, because I'm going to want to see the new baby too.
Yes.
Yeah. She'll be great, I'm sure.
Cute as a button.
Yep. So that's about it for this week. Remember, email us, takethisrosepodcast@gmail.com. If you have any other questions or quandaries, let us know. All right, thanks for watching. We will see you for finale week. Sorry. Bye.